Hello, Jody Mayberry here with you again in Lee Cockrell's office in Orlando, Florida. This office is full of wonderful Disney items, memorabilia that Lee's collected over the years. So we're going to talk about some of it. I go through his office and I pull things off the shelf and I say, Lee, what is this? And then we record it so you can find out more about it too.
We started a major initiative about how to improve our leadership at Walt Disney World back in the mid-90s. And I got assigned, Al Weiss assigned me to be in charge of that group, and we met every week for several hours with a group of people that were trying to develop what the strategy should look like, what we're going to talk about, how we're going to train the managers to be better leaders, and all those things. And at the end, Al sent me this nice thing after we got it accomplished, and I guess now it looks like we worked on that for 2 years, 96 to 98, and then so it just is a thank you for being on the team and making that happen and developing that, which later led to the Great Leader Strategies that I wrote and sent out to all the managers at Disney, which we can talk about too. But once again, there it is. It's still here, and I appreciated it from Al. It's a nice way to thank somebody. That I'll always have it, or somebody will always have it. So there you go. Great Leader Strategies was a pretty interesting project. I was frustrated that we weren't all on the same page at Disney and that we weren't clear about what leadership looked like at Disney. And so I worked with a consultant for about a year. She came to my house on Sundays, and I talked and she kept notes and she helped me organize it, and we ended up with a product called Disney Great Leader Strategies, which we launched at Walt Disney World and to all the executives and then the managers and then all the way down to the frontline cast members. And so that was good, but I was still worried that people weren't getting the message, so I recorded it, the Great Leader Strategies, after they were written, and I had 5,000 copies of this made and sent one to every manager, and they could listen to it in their car. So this became extremely popular, and one thing I learned in that is managers would call me and tell me they listened to it again after they got promoted, and they heard it a little differently because of their new job or what their responsibilities should be, or listening to it over and over. It's about a 6-hour CD, and people just said that they would hear different things that they should focus on, and it became, maybe it was before the podcast businesses. This was kind of a way to do things. Today I would do it on a podcast, but back in that day, this became extremely popular, and I still hear from people all over that ask me, do you still have a copy of that? I lost mine, or I want it back, or I want it again. And just think of many ways to communicate your message. You can do it in paper, you can do it on phone, you can do it on podcast, you can do it on a CD, you can do it any way you want, a newsletter, anything, and repeat it over and over and over again so people know. But they had possession of this, and they owned their copy, and so in their car, they listened to it over and over and over. And I know they were, frankly, developing themselves from hearing the right things and knowing what to do. And it was a way for me to be clear to people that we all want to be great leaders, and here's some of the ways you would do it, is by following these strategies. So, yeah, it was great.